Hey guys, how's it going? It is a gorgeous day out. Weather's perfect. Couldn't ask for a better day. And we're doing our Q&A today. We're gonna just jump right into it. I don't think I have any announcements or anything that I need to go over, except for tomorrow's video that you guys are gonna see was filmed a couple days ago. So Monday's video tomorrow is going to be Halloween decorating, and I swear I'm not decorating. Well, what would that be? Yeah, 2 days before. I swear I'm not decorating. Two days before. We decorated on, I think it was the 24th. Decorated. It was super late. We decorated for Halloween extremely late, but it's not 2 days before, I swear. And I did go and buy some more lights because in the video you guys will hear me say that I wish I had more lights, and I did go buy more, and we're gonna put those up this evening. So you guys will see Halloween decorations tomorrow, and it turned out really, really good. So last week we did the Q&A, we did boxwood alternative, planting a new rose of Sharon, interesting poppy, and a perfect tree for a small space. So it was an easy week. It was actually a very, very mellow week in terms of recording videos. Nothing too crazy. And our 10-day forecast shows that we're going to be in the high 60s, low 70s right now. So this is our fall time. And I think that probably in the next week or two, maybe, sometime next month, we would like to start working on the trenching. So now that we've cooled down, we can actually get some of these things done. So it's really exciting. Also, this fountain right here, I get questions every single time. It is from Campania. I will link one. I think I can find it on Pottery Barn. I can find the exact same one. In the listing photo, I think it shows rocks that are on the top. It comes with rocks, and I just don't like the rocks, so I tossed them. But I will link this in the description down below. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first video from last week was the why do I plant toxic plants, and why didn't I show the swag bag, the Q&A from last week. And the very first question on that video was from Pat, and she had said, oh, I bought a lemon cypress and I love it. It is getting into the 40s here at night, so I potted it in and put it in my sunroom for the winter. Did I do right by not putting it into the garden? Zone 7, but I really love this plant and want to keep it alive. You probably did a good job by not putting it into the garden. Lemon cypress are a warm zone plant only. I think zone 7. Yeah, zone 7 through 10. So you're kind of right on the cusp of being in zone 7. Usually this time of year you can find them pretty affordably. I think our Home Depot is selling them for $15 or something like that. So it might be worth it to see if you can pick up another one from Home Depot or from Lowe's. Usually both of those stores sell them this time of year. And maybe try putting one in the landscape and then keeping one in a container. If you're gonna keep it inside though, over the winter time, you need to give it water. Over water that thing. It needs a lot of water if they're in containers. We had one in a container and it liked as much water as we could give it. I think I had an excessive amount of drip irrigation to it, which is funny because if they go in the landscape, all of a sudden they become more drought tolerant. I don't get it at all. So yes, you're right on that border. If you're in lower zones, it's definitely something that you can grow in a container, and then you can just bring it in those winter months. The next question on that video is from Michael, and he had said, between you and Janie, you make my mornings. Totally not garden related question, but what is your favorite tattoo? And what is the next one that you want? Favorite tattoo? Probably the one that's on my shin. It's a honeybee. It's a big honeybee. I really like that one. It's hard to not say that this is my favorite. It's of my dog. But my honeybee is probably my favorite tattoo. I only have this one tattoo that has a meaning. None of my other tattoos have meanings behind them. And then my next tattoo that I want to get my spine tattooed. So I want to do one straight down my spine, and I would like to do a saying. And I don't know. I don't know what I would even want, but I just know that I like the look of a spine tattoo. So that might be the next thing that I get. Brent doesn't know that. He's hearing this for the first time. The next question on that video is from Judy, and she jokingly says, isn't it Brent's garden too? Visit our garden. I get that you're the gardener, but Brent must also enjoy the garden. My husband doesn't garden, but I plant some/most of the things that I know he will enjoy seeing. Plus, he most times doesn't say anything when I come home with a new plant or 10. Brent tells me that he hates a lot of plants. There's a lot of things that he tells me that he does not like, and then I get them planted and he doesn't like them, and then they start to grow a little bit and he's like, oh, I really like that plant. The Rose of Sharon that I have planted, he did not like that plant, and now it has become one of his favorites. What else have you hated? Oh yeah, he didn't like the creeping fig. Now he really likes the creeping fig. I mean, he didn't like the black fence, and now he loves the black fence. He didn't want to do the espalier. Now he loves the espalier. There's a lot of things that he doesn't like change is what it is. And so he doesn't like roses. Now he loves roses. Yeah. Yeah, he just said reject the unfamiliar. So I kind of just plant now however I want to plant, with the expectation that he will eventually end up loving it. There's been a couple things that I've put in the garden that even I don't like, or a couple things that I put in the garden and he's like, yeah, I don't like that. And then so we usually end up just pulling those. He also never says anything when I come home with 10 plants. How many plants did we just come home with this afternoon? We just came home with 18 of the exact same plant. Yeah. And he helped put them in the shopping cart. And the last question on that video is from Pome, and they had said, can you put hay on the floor when the birds have hatched eggs or when the babies get pushed out of the nest? The landing is not too hard. You've answered my question. Oh, I think I did answer that question in that video. Yeah, so a plan is to just put some wood shavings down below because it's concrete. And so when we start hearing that they've had babies, you can hear crystal clear that they've had babies, because the babies usually are about 2 weeks in the nest and they start screaming. And so we have a very large window of a warning for when they have their babies. And so we will go in and we'll just put we'll put a very thick layer of wood shavings, probably a couple inches. So that way when the babies get kicked out, they have a very soft landing to land on. The next video that we did was a boxwood alternative and trying pufferfish hydrangea. And there was a little controversy over me planting these and how I planted them and where I planted them. It's fine. The first question on that video was from Sarah, and she had said, so enjoy your plant videos. Wondering if you were planning to clean up the little area right behind the hydrangeas and the white picket fence. We are going to figure out a way to remove that little concrete barrier that's there. It is kind of nice to have that there because the next door neighbors have Bermuda grass in their area, and that does help it not to come over on our side. Also, we have such cool neighbors. So our fence that's on their side, if you look down the fence, it is not a straight fence at all the way down the property. And it's because there are trees and there were roots and all these things. So this fence is kind of like, it's a little wavy. And so we lost some property space where they had a couple trees because the fence line needed to go right up against the tree and we just couldn't, so we bumped it out. They had a shed that was part of our fence was there, so we just bumped it out a little bit, so we lost some space. And then in the front, we told them hey, we don't want to remove this concrete thing that's here quite yet. Can we just bump the fence over a couple inches? So our fence is technically on their property. So also I feel like if we remove that concrete barrier, it just kind of is we're stealing a little bit of land from them. And so I'm not sure about that. We do want to remove it because it is kind of ugly. But it's also pretty low on my list. We did remove in front of the creeping fig. Brent did. He removed that concrete that was there. So also technically my creeping figs are planted on their property. It's fine. The next question on that video is from Sue, and she had said, was Brent mad when you hit the irrigation pipe? It's nice that he is handy that way to be able to fix things like this. Praising Brent. He was not mad at all. We don't really get too mad about a lot of these things. What do we fight over? We fought over, we moved a water heater. That was almost the whole end of the relationship. That was a terrible day. Other than that, nothing, right? I do get a little hangry, so usually we try not to start projects around noon because then it gets a little heated. Other than that, though, we're pretty good. We do have a problem, I describe projects different than how he describes projects, so we will be saying the exact same thing 2 different ways, and so we do get a little confused sometimes. But we don't really argue over projects or if things go super south. The water, like the thing when it broke when I hit the line, we just kind of laughed. We're like, that seems correct. And the last question on that video is from Tammy, and she had said, looks so much better, Robbie. Love that you were replacing the edging. Will you be limbing up the hydrangeas? If they do well, they may grow too wide for the space and encroach on the other front shrubs. But if you limb it up a bit, it may work really well. Thank you, Brent, for fixing the irrigation. My plan is, if I can keep those hydrangeas alive, is to limb them up as much as I can towards the front of it. That way those like boxwood alternatives, what are the ilex, limb it up. So it'll be like the hydrangeas will be taller, and then I'll limb that up just a little bit. And so it'll grow kind of like right up against the hydrangeas, if that makes sense. So like the hydrangeas are gonna grow kind of at like a V shape, because that's kind of what they do. And then the ilex will grow right up against it. That's the goal. We'll see if that works out. You know, you never know. I have very little hope, or very little
faith in their, yeah.
I have very little faith that they will survive. Just because hydrangeas, every time I say this, I get a few people who comment about why do I say that I don't do well with hydrangeas when I have some on the property, because the ones that I do have are not doing well at all. I will pop a picture up right now of what 2 of them look like. They're sad, very, very sad looking. So, I mean, yeah, I guess technically I can grow them, but if that's how they're gonna look, it's not exciting and it's not a beautiful plant. So I don't grow them well. I cannot grow them well, I guess is what I should be saying. So fingers crossed that they grow and that they grow well, but I also have very little faith that they will live. It's just an experiment. It's because I want them so badly. So I'm willing to just continue to try. The next video that we did was planting a new rose of Sharon and a creeping fig again. And also we already had to replace one of them. Yeah. Okay, so it took us a couple days to get irrigation ran to them. And then Brent removed the concrete that was right in front of them. And by time we got the concrete removed and irrigation ran, one of them, the one that was in full sun that I assumed was gonna die, definitely died. We had a day that was in like the 90s, and I think it just cooked it, it scorched it. So now that we're cooling down, I'm thinking that maybe it'll survive because we've replaced it. It's been like a week now-ish, almost a week, that he replaced that one plant, and it hasn't burned yet. So we'll see. First question on that video is from Judy, and she had said, do you need to hide from Mason when you sit on your front porch? Actually, yes, we do actually have to hide from him. His bedroom faces our front porch, and so we can always see he moves his blinds to see if we're out there. And he always tells his mom whose cars are in the driveway. He's obsessed with my sister Jalen. He's in love with her, like madly in love with her. His goal is to marry her when he turns 30. You know, he wants to wait a little bit, is what he said. He's got some things he needs to do, so he's not ready to marry her when he turns 18. He wants to wait till he's 30 to marry her. It's like, Mason, she will be much older than you at that point. But he loves when he sees Jalen's car, so he's always peeking out the window. He knows, he's like, there's somebody random over at their house. Just Robbie and Brent are home. Jalen is over. Mom, I don't know whose car that is. He's really, really funny. So if he sees us on the porch, usually we can hear him banging on the window, or he comes out his like parents' bedroom and stands on the back porch and screams at us. So a little bit of privacy. The next question on that video is from Jennifer, and she had said, good morning, Robbie and Brent. Oh, that is so pretty. I love the blue chiffon. Purple is my favorite color. I do have a question about the creeping fig. Is your house wood siding? I believe how thick the figs grow and how it attaches itself to the wood will end up rotting. Does the lemon cypress need part shade? I want to get one in the spring. I garden in Zone 9B, Texas Gulf Coast. Thank you for sharing. If you're in Zone 9B, you should totally be able to grow it. And if you can find them, your best bet is going to be able to find them in the wintertime. And it's better to buy them small. They grow really, really fast. I have seen them go for like $50 for like a medium-sized one, but you can get the little ones like this for like $12. And I highly recommend getting the little ones. I mean, you're in Zone 9B, so you should be able to grow it no problem. And then As far as the creeping fig, we do have wood siding, but we do need to replace all of our wood siding, so that's why I'm not worried about it growing along the house. It needed to be replaced years ago, probably when we bought the house. Our house is 101. It's 104. Holy cow, our house is 104 years old. And so the siding needed to be replaced forever ago. We needed to do all new windows and everything. It's just pretty low on the list. And we keep saying 2 years we want to be out of this house. It's probably looking like it's going to be maybe a little bit longer because we need to also do a kitchen remodel. So kitchen remodel, siding, windows, and finish the landscape, which we will take you guys along for all of it. But that's the only reason that I'm letting the creeping fig grow in my house, is because I really just don't care. And it's growing in a container, so the stalk of it isn't going to get like stupid thick. It's not a plant that I would normally just grow along my house. If I was growing it like and I had new siding or something like that, it's not something that I would grow along the siding. I'm just not worried about it because we have to replace our siding. And I've had a couple people say that they did plant it against their house and then they had issues with like rodents and like the base of it got super thick and like it was doing something to foundation or something like that. So just a heads up, I don't remember who that was, but they told me that they had an issue. So thanks for that. The next question on that video was from Grace's Home and Garden, and she had said, "Hi Robbie, what is the name of the watering wand you're using and where did you buy it? I like that." I put that one in the description down below. I'm trying really hard for anything that I see in my videos or anything I'm using to make sure that I'm putting a link in my descriptions. And so I'll put it in the description here too. Watering wand, you can only get that one from Terrain. It's from Haws, and it's a beautiful watering wand. There is another one that I think is also by Haws that you can get off of Amazon. And instead of the like clamp handle that mine has, it has like a nozzle handle, and it's like a red nozzle. I will link both if you don't care. It still has the same vibe, but it is different. And the last question on that video is from Stacy Fernandez, and she had said, "Robbie, I know you're using the creeping fig to climb up your sidewall with the wires too, but would it also work for a Belgian wall? I'm thinking of doing that in Delaware for my mother-in-law on her back fence. I want to grow on the wire design, not just attached to the fence. What do you think?" Stacy from Philly. If you're trying to grow it in more like the diamond espalier pattern is what it sounds like you're wanting to do, no way, you could not do that. The creeping fig wants to grow flat and it grows out. There's no way that you'd be able to continuously wind it. Yeah, I think that it would be too much work if you were trying to grow it up against a flat surface. I've seen people who use like molds, or like garden topiary like forms. I saw somebody who did a horse, and I've seen rabbits, and they use creeping fig because it grows flat against those forms. So I don't think that you would have good luck unless you wanted to like really constantly stay on top of like winding those things. And because the suckers on them, I don't think it's worth it. I think that you could find something else that is just as beautiful. Yeah, I think you could find something that's a little bit better. And the next video that we did was interesting poppies and a beautiful deutzia. And there are only a couple questions. Perfect. That means that I did a really good job explaining absolutely everything. The next question is from, I think it's Jane Troby, but it also could be Janet Roby. Please tell me. YouTube makes it hard. And she had said, "Your garden is looking very nice. Are you decorating for Halloween this year?" You will see it tomorrow. Bam. It looks really good. Ashley, our next door neighbor, she goes all out for Halloween and for Christmas, and hers, top notch. She definitely beat me. She bought that massive skeleton. What is it, like 12-foot tall skeleton? It's huge. It's so pretty. I mean, it's not pretty. I think it's beautiful. And she's thinking about leaving it up for Christmas time and getting like the Santa hat. I think she should do it. She also has a 12-foot tall chicken blow up. That is really cool. And I want the 12-foot tall reindeer. I keep showing it to Brent. You can get it from At Home, and it is so cool. I want it so badly. It's like $300 though for a blow up. Ouch. The next question on that video is from Mymar, and they had said, "Are poppies perennial in your area?" Some of them are perennials, some of them are an annual. Ornamental poppies for me are more a perennial. We have a couple of them that come back every single year in the front yard. There's one that comes back and it's a beautiful, big, huge orange flower. So these ones, we'll see what happens. I don't count on it, but they're supposed to come back for me every single year. And the last question on that video is from Anne, and she had said, do you cut back the pansies when they become leggy? I personally don't cut them back. What I've seen is they kind of like get leggy and then they flop over, but then they kind of like continue to get tall, and I feel like they just kind of like spread out that way. So I don't cut them back. I know a lot of people do cut them back, but it hurts my soul a little bit, so I just can't do it. And the last video for the week was the perfect tree for small spaces. And it's a gorgeous tree. And I didn't show Brent. Oh, he likes it. He hates blue trees. And he says he likes it. That's one of those things that he tells me he hates and then he likes. The first question on that video was from Sandy, and she had said, hi Robbie, that tree is so pretty. I love trees that are blue. What did Brent say when he saw it? What was your first thought when you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it when I was editing the video, so I had to walk out and look at it. I don't mind it. I think it's okay. I like it. Okay, I like it. I just don't like admitting that.
So you heard it there. He loves it. It's his new favorite tree on the property. The next question on that video was from Yvonne, and she had said, why don't you put some live plants in pots in the aviary for the birds to enjoy? It's actually really hard to find fully safe trees and plants for them because they pick every leaf off of the tree. We've had a couple shrubs and stuff in there, and they tend to pull all the dirt out of the pot, and then they also tend to chew on all the leaves. So it has to be something that I have to 100% make sure is like not toxic to them. And I've read some like contradicting things on a lot of trees. I was actually, today we were talking about going and buying some trees to put in there, and I was gonna go buy a pine tree. And then I started reading more about pine trees because everyone I saw on 2 websites saying, yes, pine trees are safe for them. And then I saw another website that said, don't put pine trees in there because if they ingest too much of the sap, it could make them sick. And then also if they get too much sap on their feet, they could get stuck. And I was like, oh gosh, duh. So I think what I would like to do is possibly find like a magnolia tree. I read that those are totally safe for them. And then, was it honeysuckle was safe for them also? So some type of vine. And so I'm thinking I'm gonna try to see if I can find both of those this fall at some point and try to put those in there for them. And I'm also gonna continue to do more research. 2 plants is okay, but if I could find like maybe 3 or 4 things to go in there, I think that might be a little bit better. The next question on that video was from Saltwater Mom, and she had said, Robbie, I enjoy seeing the lovely additions to your garden. With your goal to be on a new property in a couple of years, have you begun taking clippings to root some of your favorite plants in pots to the new property? I have not, just because the ones that I really do love are already in containers. We have the magnolia called Ricky, and I really want that to come with us. I have 2 tree roses, and both of those I really want to come with us. Everything else is pretty common, and so I should be able to get more of those. I would like to do like a small little, like very tiny, like rose area, like a rose garden. I would like to do like lined with like boxwood or lined with like the ilex, and then have it be like a rose dedicated area that I have multiple different roses. One of them I would really like to add the Soul Sister. I love that rose. It's like a peachy creamy one. I got that one from Heirloom Roses. And then the one from Monrovia, which is the Itsy Bitsy Peach Rose. I would love to add a couple of those into the landscape wherever we end up moving, because it's a really beautiful rose and it keeps blooming. And then I have my Coco Loco and my Silver Lining already in it. And then I have the Eden Climber. Desdemona's in a container. And then the only other one that I would want to replace is the Eden Climber, which I have growing in ground on an aviary. So, or over the arbor, pergola arbor, whatever it's called. And so there's really not a whole lot that I would like to take clippings from. Everything that I really love is already in a container. And like things like trees, I'll just buy those locally. They're very affordable here. The willow tree, and that's the only thing that we'll probably take a cutting from, because I would like to get a cutting from that specific tree, because when we planted that tree, it was the tree that we wanted to get married under. And so I would like to take cuttings from that one, so that way we can like continue on that tree, if that makes sense. I would also, if we get enough property, I would like to grow willow to like harvest it, so that way I can use it for projects. And the way that you do that is you like plant your willow tree and then you top it, so it doesn't grow like a tall willow tree. It basically is like a willow tree. It's like a stump, and then it shoots up all the runners, and then you chop off all the runners, and then you can use them. And how cool would it be if I could like make my own baskets? I would have so many baskets, but I have to have a ton of willow. Brent doesn't know this yet. This is the first he's also hearing of this. So, you know, when we get 10 acres, I would love to be able to grow willow, to be able to like harvest willow. I think that would be the coolest thing ever. We watched a Gardener's World episode of a guy who grows his own willows, and he makes willow baskets, and he makes like structures. It was so cool, right?
Living fence.
A living fence. That was his suggestion. That's what we're doing. And the last question for the week is from Maynard, and they had said, everything is looking good. Are you going to put up a fence to separate the cut flower garden from the rest of the yard? I don't think so. I actually thought that I was going to for a while, and now that we have the fence down, it does feel like I can breathe a little bit. It feels like it's more like open, and I kind of like that. I thought that I had to have a fence there, and I'm kind of enjoying not having a fence there right now. So I don't think we're gonna do a fence. I had a whole idea of what fence that I wanted, the exact style and everything. It kind of mimicked the espalier that we have, and we pulled it down, and I was like, ooh, wait, this is kind of nice. So as of right now, there's zero plans to put a fence back up. And with that, that is going to be the end of this video. Very, very short Q&A for the week. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I cannot wait for you guys to see what we have coming this week. And hopefully in the next couple weeks, we will get working on doing the trenching, because that is going to be a big project. It's not going to be exciting videos, but it's going to be exciting when it's all done. So thank you guys for visiting our garden, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.